So here we are back again on this YouTube live session. Let's crack it. Yes, we have to crack every question, every doubt, every problem which is there in front of us with respect to IELTS. So here today we are with this fresh, brand new session on cue cards. So today we are going to discuss what are cue cards, what is there in it, what are the elements of cue card, what are different tips and techniques we must keep in mind, and what should we do and what should we not do so that we save ourselves from any problems or hiccups, and the passage is smooth and clear and we are able to impress the examiner and convince her or him of our knowledge, about our knowledge. Yes, so here we start our class. So my name is Aastha Arya. I'm an educator at Unacademy, and I'm going to launch my course from Monday, which is on essay writing. So you can go use the code ASTHA AASTHA and also avail 10% discount. The timings for the classes are 6 to 7:30 in the evening, and tomorrow I'll be live again on YouTube at 2 talking about yet another topic. Okay, so to start with our class, what is cue card? What are cue cards? Now, cue card questions in IELTS, they are part of the speaking test module. Yes, we have the speaking test, and this is actually the second of the three tasks that have to be completed while appearing for the test. So there are basically three parts. Second is cue cards. These tests require, a host of skills developed over a time to be able to crack them, tackle them effectively. And the least of which include being able to think on your feet. So you have to have a very good presence of mind. So, sometimes we are not able to gauge or think or guess the answers, but the more we practice, the more we understand. Right. Now, what is actually the purpose? Cue cards test your ability to talk about a topic. A topic is given at hand. We'll just now discuss the sample. So it tests your ability that how much a person can talk about a topic, how your ideas are developed, how you develop your ideas about a topic, how you connect them, okay? And how relevant vocabulary and grammar you're using. So there are so many criterias going on in the mind of the examiner, his own interpretations and judgments and assumptions, his own experience or her own experience. So you have to be fluent, you have to be coherent, you have to be logical, right? And as side by side, you should have a relevant vocabulary and grammar also. Fine. Now, what all is there in a cue card? Let me just check the messages side by side. Okay, so you can side by side write your doubts or questions. So let's make it one interactive session. And if in case you watch the video even after the live goes off, your questions are more than welcome, right? Or else you can also drop me a message on Unacademy profile and we can have an interaction over there. Great. So what all is there in a cue card? The examiner will give you a task card or a cue card with written prompts. Some prompts are there. The examiner will ask you to talk about the topic and include the points that you can cover in your talk. The topic is about a personal experience most of the times. You will be given 1 minute to prepare your talk. Yes, just 1 minute you will have to prepare for your talk. And then you will be given a pencil and a paper to make some notes, So you can scribble. One tip: do not, yes, do not write on the task card. You will have some notes or some paper with you, so you can use that to write. And when you are making notes, please do not write long, lengthy sentences because you will just finish up your time, you will exhaust your time in this. Just write some brief pointers, okay? You must talk for 1 or 2 minutes about the topic which is there at hand, and you can use your notes to help you out. And then the third part would be then the examiner will ask you some two, three more questions on the same topic, which could be some abstract or some, extrapolatory kind of questions. Now, let's have one sample cue card in front. This is a sample cue card. What does it say? Talk about a new activity that you recently discovered. And you should say, colon, what activity it is, why you took part in it, how did you find about it, and share your feelings about this experience. Now imagine you're sitting, you get this task card or cue card, you have this question in front, and you have 4 pointers to be kept in mind. You have to run your imagination on these 4 aspects, and then you quickly scribble your notes and ideas on that notepad so as to produce a coherent, a logical, a fluent answer in front of the examiner immediately after that 1 minute. And you have to speak for good 1 or 2 minutes non-stop. You might take a pause, but a pause which does not look like a pause. Just now I took a pause. I said that this was a pause. Okay, so it could be just fraction of seconds, okay, not more than that. So this is how a sample cue card looks like, right? And I'm waiting for some interesting messages and some interesting comments, some doubts to come up so that we can make this class more and more interactive, okay? Now, what you should think when you get this. So you have to think about a new activity. You recently discovered. Now let's take an example. It could be I recently discovered that I like to play piano. And you just think about it. And then what activity is? The question is answered playing a piano or a Casio. Hi Pachu, hi, glad to see you. You were not there in the session at 5 o'clock. We discussed a lot about, different kinds of models. So you missed that class, I must say. But it's okay, you're here for the cue cards. So when you're saying what activity it is, you talk about a new activity, you can say, well, the new activity I like is playing piano or playing any musical instrument. Why you took part in it? Well, I have started practicing or going to some classes to learn piano. I've started taking piano lessons. Why? Why means you have to give a reason because I think it's my newfound interest. Somehow music soothes me, it provides me solace, and I feel in sync with the environment when I listen to music. So this is why I have chosen to take some piano lessons recently. How did you find about it? Well, I was once overhearing my friend talking to his or her friend or mother or sister that he or she has to go for some tabla classes or say some Casio classes. And then when I discussed with that friend, I realized that he or she, is regularly involved in such musical activities. And then I rediscovered the reason why he or she was so happy and calm. And therefore, I found out about it. I elaborated a little bit part of my question 3, but not too much that it looks a lie. Yes, I cooked up. You can also cook up. You can. You can. lie a bit, but don't make a mountain that you forget where you started from. So one or two lines you can just add to, like a cherry on the top on the cake, so as to enhance the flavor of your words, so as to enhance the meaning of your words, right? So this is how you answer. How did you find about it? And share your feelings about this experience. And now you are sharing your feelings. Yes, Paj, you're absolutely right. It could be cooking, it could be playing a game, it could be swimming. Good. So, and then you say, and share your feelings. Well, I feel out of this world. I feel on cloud nine. You know, this is how you can use idioms. This is where the role of idioms also come in. Well, I'm taking a YouTube class on idioms tomorrow. Okay, so be there. So, yes, you can say public speaking, singing competition. But Pachu, how can you say singing competition? It cannot be a new activity that you recently discovered. Competition would be a day or some hours, right? So it has to be something which has become your recent hobby, something which you attend regularly, right, Pachu? So I don't think it should be singing competition. It could be singing classes or some instrument classes, okay? Because something which you are doing regularly. That is why we call it a new activity. Fine. And share your feelings about this experience. So you can say, well, I feel on cloud nine. I feel elated. I feel mesmerizing. I feel at the top of the world. And I feel that, I am rediscovering my inner self. So that is how you describe your feelings about this experience. You have to just create it and make it magical. The other person should be able to feel that depth of your emotions. The other person should be able to feel that excitement in you. That should be seen, that should be felt. Okay, so this is the way you should interact. And if you notice, how am I trying to interact? I'm trying to sound logical. The way I'm speaking, I'm trying to sound fluent. Okay, even if I'm taking pauses, I am taking pauses, but then I'm covering up with some expressions. Yes, right now I nodded two times. It was a pause. It did not look like a pause. So these are the tips and tricks you need to grasp. How you talk with your face, how you raise your eyebrows, how you smile in between, and how you speak, how you use your hands. So everything, everything forms your personality. Everything is counted when you're speaking, right? Now let's quickly talk about, okay, it's time for some comments. Let's see who has commented. Okay, Paju says touring. Yes, absolutely, Paju. Touring can be, yes, absolutely. It can be one recently chosen activity or recently rediscovered activity. Absolutely. Great. So now, after this cue card, let's understand things you should prepare for before your exam. What are the things you should keep in mind before you take this cue card examination, right? Okay, yes. What is the first tip which I give to my students? Practice making notes within a minute. The 1 minute you get before you start speaking is very critical. You need to learn how to use this time. And you can use the following technique to practice. Okay? Number one, underline important words in each cue card. That is what I teach my students when we take reading sections, and I'm launching a new course from Monday, essay writing. So these are some techniques we pick up from all the sections, and techniques of all the sections somehow help us. So one important is finding keywords. Pick up important, underline them. Write 2 3 keywords against the topic and each cue to build up that point. So you have to actually build up a tree. You have to make that tree of thoughts in your notepad that moment. You have just 1 minute, just one. Okay. Yes, Panchu, my exam is coming. Please tell more. Yes, stay connected and we are talking about it. Okay. You can also write your doubts if you have. Right. Now, practice speaking for at least 3 to 4 minutes at length. Okay, so take any topic. Right now, I had given one live example how I spoke for minimum, I suppose, 2 minutes, right? You can practice speaking for at least 3 to 4 minutes at length. At length means in one go, in one stretch. Why? Because when you are in front of the examiner, you might feel nervous, you might. So if you are in practice of speaking for 3 to 4 minutes, even if you get nervous, even if you forget some words, you will drag down to 2 minutes, which is actually required. So practice more than required. Okay, if you can think this will be easy, then your mind is fooling you into believing that you are better than you are. Why? Because you have to speak out loud on a topic for 4 minutes. Have a stopwatch, and you will know that it's not difficult. It is not that difficult, but it is difficult when you have to speak continuously for 3 to 4 minutes. You have to actually find words. You just become numb. This is why I tell my students to practice in advance and speak for minimum 4 minutes with a stopwatch. Because when you start speaking, then you realize what a challenge it is. And then record what you say to listen to your intonation, how you're raising your voice and you're bringing it down, and cohesiveness later. Cohesiveness would be how logically your ideas are connected. You cannot speak anything out of this world. It has to be connected. It cannot be haywire. It's not just collection of the words. One idea should link to the second, should link to the third. So if your thoughts are scattered, your flow will be broken because you will not know what to speak after a specific point, right? Next, practice speaking in front of the mirror to see what your body language conveys. When you are able to observe yourself, when you're able to see yourself, and you know how you're acting out, there's a very, very positive feedback you give to yourself in that manner. And you also learn where you are, flawed. So there's a strong reason why IELTS is not virtual yet, because the examiner will not only listen to the words but also gauge your comfort with the language, right? The examiner has to see how comfortable you are with the language, and comfort can be only reflected the way you speak, the way you talk, the way you interact. Are you comfortable or not? Or are you sitting straight and you're just throat memorizing what you learn, you're bringing the ideas and then just vomiting them out? So you have to have that confidence, and you can have that when you practice in front of the mirror, right? Everyone becomes nervous, but if you are confident, none of this will happen, okay? The next, and always remember to smile, breathe, and speak like you mean it. Mean it. What did I say? Mean it. This hand automatically came up because I mean what I'm saying. That transfer of confidence, the transfer of belief should be there in your thoughts and ideas. Number 4, find out all the recent cue card questions. Yes, some children do not focus on the previous year question papers, but I must say this is a very, very important step, because once you know what's the pattern, you might not get a same question or a similar one, but if you know that this is the pattern, you can at least gauge, you can take some help. So what do you do? Search the internet. There are so many pool of resources available. Anticipate your answers. Build vocabulary around the topics which are very common. Have your own notepad for that, okay? Have your own booklet for that. For example, if you're asked to talk about your family, words like parents, siblings, Maternal grandfather, uncle, aunt, niece, nephew. They should be part of the list that you make a preparation for the test, and you should know how to describe each one if need be, okay? And now we talk about the things you should avoid during during the exam. We always talk about things which should be done during the exam, right? But now let's talk about things which we should not do during the exam, okay? Now, one thing I would always tell my students, never feel underconfident. Even if you feel your confidence is going down, take a deep breath, take a deep breath, and take a deep breath. Meditation is one very important technique which you can follow while you're taking cue cards. Not before that, not in that 1 minute, but yes, some lifestyle changes are very important. Some vocabulary building is very important if you're, taking IELTS exam, and be it any section you're talking about. If you have some lifestyle changes, that will automatically help you. And after this, I will come back to one. We'll also discuss about sample questions once again, okay? After we discuss what to avoid during the exam. Pausing. Yes, although pausing is looked at, as a desirable virtue amongst the intellects, it is not favored much here in the IELTS. Now, we have seen some people, they pause, they, take time. So it looks like the person is intellectual, the person is reflecting, he or she is taking ideas, inspiration from somewhere, God knows. Or, and somehow pausing also helps us, because when we pause, when we think about some aspects, we are giving chance to our brain to collect information, right? But it is not favored much here because it's a time bound test, and if you are given the time to make notes, make them in sequential fashion. Have a sequence, follow a sequence, because once you are done writing, you only have to refer to that piece of paper, and that will somehow shape your flow of speech. So if you are pausing for long, it somehow reduces the band in the, there have been so many cases in which pausing has reduced the band score. Yes, so pausing to that long extent is not considered acceptable. Okay, there's so many people live. Great. So I am waiting for your doubts and messages. So let's make it an interactive class. Okay. And the next one we talk about is answering in one word or short sentences. Okay. Now, uh, when you are given a topic, you are expected to speak for a minimum of 2 minutes. Even if the questions can be answered in 30 seconds, you have to expand that talk to include the things that you were not asked if need be. This is how you create your answers. This is how you frame, you build up upon your speech. So even if the answer is a yes or a no, you are expected to cover it up, because actually you have to speak like native, and natives don't speak less. They always have a lot of information to share, be it of any language. Now, say a question is about something that has been in your family through generations, okay? You may not have one in your family, but you can venture to talk about the importance of, say, heirlooms in families in general. So that ways you have to just keep on speaking, but not that too much. Balance is the key. And the last and the seventh tip, slouching, slumping, tapping a surface, shallow breaths, these are signs that you're not confident in what you're about to do. Everyone experiences the same emotions and same anxieties. That's absolutely fine. The difference is how you train yourself. Right now, I had mentioned meditation. Yes, it works. And examiners, more likely to pardon a slip of tongue. You can just smile and just cover up. But, if the candidate looks confident. So before you begin to answer a question, take a deep breath, exhale, center yourself, clear your brain of panicky thoughts, and then begin. And then, yes, you will feel like, let's crack it. So, this was a class on 7 important tips to crack QCAT's IELTS. See you tomorrow, 12 and 2 p.m. on Unacademy, YouTube Live, as well as special class. And do join my course from Monday, 23rd December on essay writing, 6 to 7:30 p.m. Till then, good evening and good night.